everyone is aware that in this session now it's about practicing the lataif, the protection adhkars, practicing the lataif, transfer, and then do the muraqabah. Inshallah, as we know that our blessed teacher, Hadrat Sahib, they're away in Pakistan, so inshallah spiritually, they usually are giving bayan at morning times every day anyway. So spiritually, inshallah, we should transfer, meet them, seek their company and advice, and then from then, inshallah, meeting the mashayikh, the other mashayikh as well. That because the time of the Zul Hijjah is approaching very fast, and especially the best 10 days, and this is attributed to many blessed personalities, especially Sayyidina Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam and Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam. So inshallah, if we meet those personalities, seek lessons and any advice and nasihat from their lifetime and how they sacrificed, especially leading up to the sacrifice and how the zabah, or then how we perform the qurbani in the day of Eid as well, and the significance and the lesson of learning from that, and being in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So inshallah, you should do the first of all, rectify the niyat, then be in the three keys of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is with me, Allah is seeing me, Allah is hearing me. And then after that, inshallah, then do the three muraqabahs of humbleness, shukr, and the reliance. Then obviously it's the start of askars, maybe I'll recite aloud as well. And then inshallah begin the lataif. So spend about maybe 10-15 minutes on the lataif, 15 minutes on the lataif, and then 15-20 minutes on the muraqabah. Alhamdulillah, because there are less of us here today, so everyone here should get opportunity to relate, inshallah. Everyone here, I really encourage yourselves to relate so that we enlighten, benefit myself and ourselves, inshallah, and those who are actually watching live on the internet as well. So it's only about 10-11 hours here in total, so inshallah we can all get a chance to express, because remember, one of the purpose of the gathering is that obviously to attend, follow the hukum of the teacher, but by attending and following the amals and the collective muraqabah, and sometimes many of our spiritual help comes from the mashayikh and the teacher, and one is rectified the benefits. At least for that 1 week, he's get refreshed in his daily amals and deen and motivation towards deen and tariq and sunnat. Any mistakes or rectification gets highlighted as well. Anything that is confusing or not understanding or any struggles, that gets highlighted and discussed as well, inshallah. So that is why again and again it is very much encouraged that don't look at the person who is left of you, right of you, in front of you or behind you. You just relate. Like for example, myself, I'm sat here. Obviously, I'm just trying to follow the instruction to actually continue the gathering and the majalis in the physical absence. Although spiritually, they cannot be present, and the fairs and blessings is there, and the fairs, and also that's also given an indication that he also checks our own niyyah, that shows that this deen and this religion and the path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is not necessarily based on personalities, and it's about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about deen of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and akhirat. Although yes, the great emphasis is and the adab is those who are teaching, those who are our teachers, mashayikh, we have the utmost respect for, and it is actually in their help, spiritual help and physical help, that we are actually learning anything and benefiting anything as well. And in the spiritual faith and blessing, even beyond this world and the world of grave, the mashayikh are supporting, and the teacher is supporting whilst they're here or elsewhere else, anywhere else. But the thing is that especially when they're away and we attend, that also gives an indication about that inshallah how sincere and serious we are, that in the physical absence, inshallah, we're trying our best to attend and follow the hukum and command, inshallah. Because the real test lies now. I understand obviously many people have many duties, many difficulties at home, Many people have gone away because it's time for holidays as well. So it's not to actually mention about anyone really, it's about ourselves. Alhamdulillah, it is a fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are able to attend. We are able to do the Fajr Salah in Jama'ah in the masjid, read the Adhkars together. The time of Dhul Hijjah is very much approaching. We know the blessedness of this month and the first 10 days. And so we should appreciate, but at the same time we should not become haughty or any kind of this self-likeness or arrogance should come in. Look, I'm here, what's happened to my friend, what's happened to my brother? You should consider that I am lucky, I am been extra fazl upon me that I am able to attend. Or else what is the difference between a person who cannot hear, who is not here, and I am here? In fact, maybe they may be more close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the status and whatever, than myself. I'm just outwardly here as well. And any goodness we should really attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anyway, that it is by the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, that I have attended. It is purely, or else I could have been one of them, slept through the whole thing as well. So we have to keep in balance, inshallah. But the main thing is, as our mashayikh and the true awliya and the mashayikh, they have that they're like selfless people. We are maybe selfish people, but they're selfless people, i.e., they would want the whole ummah to benefit, whether people know of them or not. The only reason why the emphasis of the shaykh and the mashayikh is mentioned, because it is a key through which the doors of path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the doors to closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the closest to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and the mashayikh opens. And unfortunately, in this day and age, in the information age, if things are not clearly expressed and mentioned, then sometimes people like myself and ourselves, we do not see the obvious. We do not take the obvious understanding. So therefore, this is mentioned just for purely for the teaching's sake, purely so that we benefit from it. But in their own personal, one could say, or from their own perspective, it's rather that if people benefit, that they don't even know us, know the mashayikh, then they're happy. They're far more better in that state. And like yourselves know, the awliya of the highest caliber, like the Ghaus and Aqtabs, they usually remain hidden anyway. Very rare people know throughout the centuries. Maybe one or two we know, like so Shaykh Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahimahullah, or now obviously we know about Shaykh Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Ad-Dabbagh and other awliyas and buzurgs as well. So it is a blessing that we know, and inshallah we are following. But like I said, that because they're selfless people, that they always focus on it's about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's about deen, it's about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and it's about this nubuwwat and risalat and this deen that carries on till Yawmul Qiyamah. It is not about individuals or personalities, and we should not get caught up with that as well. And so this is also important from the deen point of view to know that things will continue, inshallah, whether we are part of it or not. The mashayikh phase is still coming and blessing us, whether we are part of the system or not, inshallah. But all we have to do is to understand this concept and understand the means through which, the asbab, the zariyat through which we are receiving it. So therefore, like inshallah, we're thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His mercy and fazl upon us, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam who's shown us the way, especially the mashayikh through the centuries, and especially our teacher Hazrat Shaykh Ahmed Dabbagh as well. We should never actually forget this, because our origin, you could say, and our beginning is from there anyway, and our end is there as well, inshallah. So inshallah, maybe the lights can be turned off for us to focus. So you can begin your initial preparations, and then maybe I'll recite some adhkars for just start up, and then we'll begin the lataif and the MURAQBA, inshallah, thereafter. Like in this month of Dhul Hijjah, many Hujjaj have traversed or actually about to depart from their homes and from their localities and countries, and they're becoming in the state of tawbah, in a state of forgiveness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from everyone else, and really entering in this blessed month. Whether we are actually going for Hajj this year or not, that we should also spiritually be in that mindset now, starting from this gathering, seeking forgiveness, and then at least for the next 10 days until Eid and beyond in this month, that we should be in that similar mental state or physical and spiritual state. Although yes, many of the Sharia and the law does not apply because we're not in a state of ihram, but spiritually and at a mental or psychological level, we can be in that state, inshallah. Try to be remain extra pure, do the adhkars, and try to have this connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and obviously the mashayikh and the teacher as well. So inshallah, begin inshallah with the istighfar and so on, and even in the MURAQBA, maybe that will be a part of it as well, inshallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليك. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. السلام عليك أيها النبي. السلام عليك أيها النبي. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا إله إلا الله. 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 محمد رسول الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك أيها النبي السلام عليك أيها النبي السلام عليك أيها النبي السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم ما شاء الله سبحانك وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. MashaAllah, you can open your eyes and you can return, inshallah. Allah, inshallah. So starting from the right, 10 by 10, if everyone just take opportunity to relate, inshallah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Firstly, when I transferred, I found our teacher in Pakistan at the Zawiya, and we all gathered around them on the red carpet. We sat in their presence for a few moments, and they got up and walked us to a place outside, and this place was very similar to the Mazar of Sayyidina Abdul Aziz at the Bagh. It was just the roof as though floating, and then after a short while the walls started to erect in a similar place, and they ordered all of the participants of this majlis to do tawaf around this place that has just formed. And those people who have submitted, they started to just do tawaf without any number in mind, and following Ustad Shah, we actually just continued doing tawaf until the hukam came to stop. And they said that whoever in their mind is thinking that I'm going to say stop, it will as though carry on forever. And then they said that what is it that you want to, what is most beloved to you? And they asked each and every person, and in my heart I was thinking that nothing is more beloved to me than you. In my heart I was thinking about the teacher, but I didn't say that, as I'm not worthy of saying such things. And they somewhat knew. And then they said, you are sacrificing me. whenever I leave or depart from England and go to another country to spread the message, you are sacrificing me. The physical presence is being sacrificed, but do never sacrifice the spiritual blessings and fruits and fuzat that you can attain when I'm not there. Those people who are doing this, they are not doing as I have told them to do, but it is important that you and those who are true to me continue sacrificing themselves for me. And then we entered into this place that erected, and we started to elevate. And we entered into, I remember we went through the heavens and past Baytul Ma'mur in this place similar to the Mazar of Sayyid Abdul Aziz Dabbagh Rahimahullah. And then we entered, or every single person entered this maqam Dabbaghi, and then each and every one of us just prostrated there. And then at that point we were told to return, and we just stayed in that for some time. Jazakallah.
Alhamdulillah. I think exactly. One thing just to note that in the Sharia point of view, outwardly, that the only place we are allowed, we are commanded to tawaf is in Masjid Haram in the Kaaba Sharif. Here, this actually have a different meaning, not in a literal sense, that our life should revolve around the Mashayikh and their teachings, and showing our submission and our following them. So it actually is meaning that, but shown in an imagery form, that we should really think that the teaching which the Mashayikh is showing and the teacher is showing, that our life should revolve around that. Really, we shouldn't think that, okay, this is deen, this is tariq, but then I have my own life. Everything should cover your life. So every aspect of the religion is actually explained is found in deen that you can follow. Because many have this like a mentality about that, oh, religion is just my worship and my rituals, and I do this and that, and then I move on and I put a different, you could say, cap on, and this is my own personal life, I know best what to do. But here what we need to understand is we need to now slowly think that not just my life in the masjid or interaction, but everything is tariq for me, and every whole life I live is according to this, and my life is revolving around that. And for us, who are the best of examples is none other than obviously the teacher Hazrat Sahib, and obviously the Sheikh Sayyidina Abdul Aziz Dabbagh. And regarding the sacrifice, it is quite true that really it is not really a sacrifice, that we think that we have love of the teacher and we want to be with them. And if we actually feel that, and if we actually can't witness that, then now this is only a glimpse, this is only a very slight taste in the mouth, one could say, or slight taste, a slight glimpse of how they feel about their students, i.e., brothers, mashallah, like yourselves and those who are on the online, that maybe they do not outwardly express, but whatever you feel, it is only a very small percentage, small fraction, a glimpse of their love unto us. So in one sense, sometimes we think as though I'm expressing my love, it is some kind of ihsan I'm doing, or like, look, I'm actually something great. Alhamdulillah, it is great to recognize this and to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then also you have to think from the perspective of the teacher, like how they must actually love and they have the attention and care for their students as well. So in comparison, it's nothing. Like we know from the hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves his servant more than 70 times than a mother loves her child. So although we always say that, oh Allah, we love you, we want to follow you, yeah, we actually prefer you from everything. So from our perspective, we think we've done everything. Yes, we're doing so much sacrifice, we did so much effort. But sometimes we don't think that, look what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing for us. Look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has facilitated us. Look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala how love He is showing us. We don't see it from that perspective. Once you see, then you feel ashamed, embarrassed that, why am I actually claiming that I'm doing this for Allah, I'm doing that for Allah. It is Allah doing everything for me. I'm only maybe just making intention and doing something, movements, that's it. So likewise, at a teacher and the human level, this also applies in a similar understanding. Obviously, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beyond an example. It's like Mashaykh, especially Mashaykh say of Shadli Silsila, they said, like, those who think have these questions to the effect, I'm just explaining, that how am I in the sight of the Shaykh? And how does he think of me, or how close I am to him? It is actually a wrong question to ask. The answer is within yourself. That how much do you value? How much is he? How much love do you have in your heart of the Shaykh? That is the question. That is the question you should have, because that then has a value in terms of how much relationship you have with the teacher or not. So rather than sometimes by default they think, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, am I close to the teacher? What do they think of me? That question or that attitude is wrong, because the question to this answer lies within yourself. That how much do you have the love and the connection to the teacher? How much do you value? What is the qadr do you have in your heart? And more than reciprocal of this, more than even that, the teacher inshallah will is and will give you and is giving you back anyway without we are realizing this. So I hope it makes sense that no matter what to sacrifice you are doing a little bit or physically or otherwise, that from their perspective they're doing huge amount, tenfold more, 70 times more than what we ever can do. Like from our Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that one we worship, that whatever we do claim that we're doing it for Him, what Allah is doing for us and how much love and care He's showing. And likewise Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the pious and the righteous, is nothing we are doing compared to that. It is everything is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing and facilitating. We are doing nothing really. Likewise, when it comes to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the teacher and the mashaykh, you can understand in that form as well, inshallah. Okay, jazakallah, inshallah. Next.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. After doing the latayaf and the transfer, because today I was a bit tired, so we were distracted of the tiredness as well. But
distracted of what, sorry?
By the tiredness.
Okay.
So after transferring, met the teacher, the Zawiya in Pakistan, I saw them sat down. Then when I went there, they got up and then they were smiling. Then they said, let's show you around the Zawiya, and they took me for a tour. And after that, we went to the permission of our Mashayikh, Abdul Aziz Akbar, Rahmatullah. We went to the blessed Mazar. Then after that, we went to Madinah Sharif for the permission from Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then we went to Makkah Sharif, doing the zikr. Then I could see we transform into the state of Ihram. We done Tawaf and the Sahih, and after that we changed into our normal clothes. And in between there was a distraction, like my mind was going to other places, but tried to come back. And then suddenly, after coming to the normal clothes, then I took the permission to come back. Then I took the permission and came back, and then I went to the bathroom, and there was one That's it.
MashaAllah, it is a very good experience, blessed experience that he managed to meet the teacher. They were showing around the Zawiyah, and then obviously Medina Sharif and the Kaaba Sharif. It is a blessed. Normally, in a normal day, just compare ourselves that when we are not doing the muraqabas, how it is my normal state, or how often in my own mind I'm saying now in your own mind, how often do you think these things? So because of the blessingness of learning this muraqabah and practicing it, you get to visualize, and then that refreshes the iman anyway. But I think, as yourselves know, that it is important that, especially in Thursday gathering, be it in the morning or in the evening, as much as possible, we should minimize the distractions. Number one distraction is the physical distraction. If someone is tired, let's say, if not rested, then he would struggle. Even no matter how a person spiritually high that person is, that physical will have a certain need and they will overcome. So inshallah, I know we all have to work and we've got duties to do and perform, and obviously many other aspects in life which cannot avoid, which is fine. But at least before Majlis, that we should have this mindset that at least have some time that I'm actually resting or doing something so that I'm free or I'm fresh for that period. You can always use the analogy in the life that, for example, if I were to have, for example, a very important meeting, let's say I have to go to the court at 7 in the morning, for example. Although I may be working during the day and the day before that, but it's always in my mind, I need to go home earlier, slightly 1 hour earlier or 2 hours earlier. I'm going to refresh. Then when I wake up, I'm going to have a shower, put my clothes on, look fresh. Although maybe I'm tired because of the fact that I'm not rested, whatever. Because I don't want to be like closing my eyes in front of the judge and just sleeping, because at the end of the day, he won't be sympathetic. They say, well, why did you need to prepare? You knew the date. But I couldn't avoid because I was busy. And that's fine. So like in the dunya sense, we can understand the importance and we make certain adjustments to ensure that at least as best as possible, if you cannot completely rid of it, to minimize some of the physical distractions. So number one. So I always think that, Mashaykh always said that, in this, like spiritually, you should prepare. How do you prepare spiritually? I mentioned physically at least 24 hours before, especially the Thursday gathering, because then we're going to practice and learn advice and nasihat and so on. That start preparing yourself. If, for example, many people, we are engaged. I know, mashallah, amongst the brothers, that as soon as they come Wednesday, start thinking, no, what can I not plan just before the majlis or just night before the majlis of the day? Because I know for a fact, if we are engaged in that, so someone said, let's go for a dawat, we'll do at 8. Then these brothers start thinking, well, if I do go at 8 o'clock, I might not be back till 12, 1 o'clock. Especially if in the morning majlis, I'm going to miss it. If the flexibility, let's arrange on Thursday, is that possible? You have to almost, like they have in English, it's a red tape, block out that, look, okay, minimum I need a 3-hour rest before I go to gathering. I'm going to have a shower, I'm going to put best clothing on, put ether on and so on. That so that not unless you can avoid it, then you completely have to go away somewhere, or completely that you have to work through that time, then obviously that's a different matter. But where there's a flexibility, always in your mentally block out that time before that and after, so that this time is like almost sacred for you, that you're preparing mentally, physically, you're there. And spiritual preparation, one aspect is that, inshallah, what we should do is if possible, part of the obviously physical tahara is physical as well. Do mashallah fresh wudu, do ghusl, do 2 rakat. If you cannot do 2 rakat nawafil tahajjud, because obviously time is short, because the nights are short nowadays, then at least do your fajr sunnah at home, for example, because that's a sunnah in itself. Then come in the masjid. And while you're driving, then you should then even minimize, even if you're used to listen to the radio or whatever you listen to or talk to colleagues, even try to minimize that. Although it's not haram, for example, you're talking to your brothers or whatever, minimize that. Look, focus on it. Where am I going now? I'm going to the gathering, I'm going to meet the teacher. And even that day, minimize the interaction. And so sometimes when you interact in the world and do many activities, when you're doing the lataif, that comes about. So you see your mind is wandering here and there, you're bringing it back. So one thing you could do is be smart, and so I'm going to minimize that. Like today, like Tuesday, Wednesday come in, okay, before Thursday, what can I minimize? Okay, maybe I do this, I'll do that. I go and have a good chat with my friend and play snooker today or whatever else. That's fine. I'm not saying anything that's halal it's fine. You can do as well. Islam allows it. But say, look, I'm going to minimize it. It's not necessary you have to do it just the night before or the day before the majlis. I could do it on Friday or Saturday, whatever. So that's thing you could do. And the spiritual preparation is then do the tawbah, ask for forgiveness beforehand. Like for example, if you go to Hajj and Umrah, we advise you to prepare. So this is like mini preparation you should do. Do fresh ghusl, that helps you, it refreshes you as well, physically, mentally as well. And do tawbah beforehand, ask for forgiveness. Try to be in the presence as much as possible, proceeding to the gathering. And then you attend, mashallah, the practice. Then you see it's improving. One thing we're trying to improve in terms of the practice, the muraqabah, one thing is that your quality of the practice also becomes better as well, inshallah. So always have this mind. Monday, mashallah, majlis, we should come bring people in. But Thursday, this is my time with the teacher in the gathering and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why should I compromise this for anything else if I can avoid it? That's how you should be thinking, inshallah. And if you think like that, then you see that you're not missing the gathering because you're able to attend, be it in the morning or in the evening, because you blocked it out in your mind that that's my special time. I'm not going to miss that for the world, inshallah. Jazakallah for that, mashallah. Ji, next person.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
There were two things I noticed during the.
Ji, sorry, I missed that.
Sorry, there were two things I noticed during the dive cleansing process. The white day for the preparation of the mouth. I felt as though my body was shaking.
Okay.
That's happened
during the lataif.
During the white one, yeah, that's happened.
At the beginning of
the beginning one, beginning one, and also during the, I think it was a yellow lataif, some thoughts started to come into my mind. But after that, once we transferred, found that.
Are you able to share or not? If not, that's fine.
No, just worldly thoughts. It was just minor.
But the yellow latifa has a direct relationship to the world anyway, and the worldly activities, if it's slightly imbalanced, whatever. So in a way, that was like almost like you could say like a scandal to see that. Look, that if it's something that's not correct, that you have to rectify. Well, even so, there's maybe nothing wrong with it. But like I was saying about preparation, physically, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, you need to now start thinking like this. Because sometimes we are physically present, mashallah, made it, alhamdulillah, that in itself is a success at one level. But then maybe I'm thinking about my work or something happens over the last 24 hours, or I'm thinking about what's going to happen in the future. So mentally we are not there. Like I was listening on the online, Hadassa was saying, that the thinking, the thought and thinking is very latif, very light. And sometimes we can't even give that to Allah. And we give our full of filth and blood inside to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make that stand, the full of filth and blood which is inside of us, and make it stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And think that Allah would like to have is that your focus and your devotion, your thoughts, which is very easy, very light, you cannot dedicate that to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what they're trying to say is that look, when you're actually present, especially in the gatherings like this, at least just as a training, that try to be present with yourself, with your body, with your mind, with your heart, and with your soul. And for that to happen, you need to start thinking about it. Like I said, on Tuesday night, on Wednesday day, morning, afternoon, and then especially night time comes, that's it. And then if the majlis in the evening, that's fine. Then you got the Thursday morning and Thursday day to think about. And it's as though like you work, obviously, people who go to annual leave, like yourselves though, I'm going for 2 weeks. What happens is you don't just like you get up and go. You basically start thinking, I have to now delegate my task. Who's going to cover this for the 2 weeks? If you're maybe for example you're a manager, that manager role is so intense and so demanding. So you start delegating, you start covering yourself. You think, look, because I'm not going to be here, I have to make sure that I do this important aspect so that I don't come back and find as though things have gone upside down. Or give it to other responsible people who can carry on whilst you're away. Can you relate to this? So like this, when it comes to the Thursday, almost think like that, like I have to start discharging or remove many of the things which are not going to affect me until I can do it on Friday or Thursday or Saturday or Sunday, whenever. Let's just prepare now mentally as well. If you do this more regularly, you see that, like I said, the sharpness and you get more refined as well, inshallah. And so inshallah, so that's good, mashallah. Yes, Ji, carry on.
So once we transferred, found the blessed teacher, gave salam, and then from there we went to the Mazar of Sayyidina Abdul Aziz al-Badr, gave salam to them and made dua there, asked Azizah for help on a particular matter, and it was as though they put their hand in my heart and removed what was inside. And then from there we went to, it was we were all the brothers that were present, went to Makkah Sharif. We were all in the state of Ihram, and we performed Umrah with the company of a blessed teacher. And then from there we went to, it was as though we went to the various different points of Hajj, Mina, Arafah, and performed Hajj with the blessed teacher. And once this was done, as the Sahib gave some nasiyah to the nearest, meaning that in order to attain the nearness and the close-up of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the person needs to stay steadfast on the course. And then from there we went to Medina Sharif to present salam to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Okay. So mashallah, very blessed that you managed to do Umrah with being in the company of the teacher, go to all these different Hajj rituals, and then even met with Rasulullah, give salam. So mashallah, very blessed. And again, just one more point, like I was saying earlier, and the fact that because we come to the gathering and we had some of the purposes that spiritual help you get, any rectification, any mistakes, anything that needs rectifying, we get help like that. Any mistakes we do in, again, actually we're learning, we're correcting that. And like you so just mentioned, that something was in the heart and something maybe you can't even relate to, but by being the presence and spiritually, you got this extra help, this like extra attention. Like in the WhatsApp group, someone was saying that sometimes Mashaykh always keep paying attention and spiritually helping you as well, so that you come out of the state, you become strong and steadfast. But you have to make it count. What that means is that the support will come, and it is always coming. But if you don't then utilize that support, or if you neglect it and don't follow it through, then eventually the time comes, then that support then stops, because we're not valuing it. So then rather then support goes to someone else who would value it as well. So like I said, nothing is taken for granted in life. Allah's mercy is everything else. But remember, one day could come that's it, chance is gone, the opportunity is gone. Then you can cry your eyes out and it doesn't really matter anymore. So until then, when the opportunity is coming again and again, and special blessings and future coming again, then we should utilize that, maximum that, make that, take a benefit from that and take an advantage of that, so that we become better, inshallah. Okay, Jazakallah, thank you for having me. Yes, brother.
So after the point of transfer, met Hansab here in Oldham. And after conveying Islam, I asked for their forgiveness for not following out the duties that are upon myself, i.e. my own purification and spreading the message. And they mentioned that you'll be with those whom you love and obey. So if you obey the Mashaykh, inshallah, you will be with them. And then we travelled somewhere that was quite scenic and quite green, and then it was like a waterfall was there and the ocean, and they mentioned you know what this means. I think they were referring to purification. And then we went into a city type area, and they mentioned that this is the best place to do the purification to the nearest meaning and effect. And whilst we were in the city, walking around, I had my head down, looking directly towards my feet and Hassan's feet, up until we came out of the city/market area. And they mentioned that the blessed 10 days of, they mentioned to the nearest meaning that the blessed 10 days of Zulhijjah are here. So there are two aspects. The first is the physical, i.e. looking after the body and the sleep. and the second is wherever you are, think what part of the course can I act upon right now, right here, and they also mentioned that take everyday tasks with ease, so you can think a lot more and think about every single task that you are doing, whether it be work or anything like this. And then we sat down on a bench, and then they mentioned do your MURAQBA now, and the experience ended there.
MashaAllah, it got some personalized guidance, because sometimes, like we know we got to do these amals, the blessed days are coming, the special sale, Islamic sale days are coming, but even then we lose time because we're doing this and that, and we're like directionless, aimlessly we do, so waste time as well. We think we're doing good work, we're doing the deen work or whatever, but then we stand up wasting it, going here and there, talking away. So here specifically you are given advice, guidance that part of the course you already done or you're doing, but in this days focus on it, so it becomes like a means of refresh, and so you're benefiting from it, and you then become steadfast in the course as well. So specific advice given that which you can relate to better, and you can obviously follow, and if you need advice from Ustad, you can do that as well. Also, the saying of this good, like I said, scenic places and the city, one of the indication is that really, that whilst living in the city, living in the world like we are doing, that really we can still do our tazkiyah, and we are sent here to live in this world. It's not that we go in the jungle somewhere, because our Mashaykh, the Shazali Mashaykh, our May of the Tariqah Muhammadiyah is that they don't take people out of dunya and put them somewhere in the jungle, but take the dunya out of people. So you still live in dunya, you benefit from what's the best of dunya, but at the same time you make an akhirah, you make a relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as well. So in the sense that this initial scene you saw, that you can make that scene of peace and tranquility whilst living in this world of chaos as well. It doesn't have to be that I'm part of this world, so my life is chaos, my family life is been chaos, my religious life is chaos, everything, every aspect is chaos. No, everything could be tranquil and peaceful if you follow the instruction, follow the way, that whilst living in the city, in this world, your life is still, almost like, you could say heavenly as well. And it is really, someone follows the way of the sunnah, that revolves the life around the mashayikh, then it is a heavenly life anyway. So you get the best of this world. Imam al-Hadith they were mentioning, the best people are those not who just left dunya for akhirat, or left akhirat for dunya. The people are best, those people who are the best of people are those who actually take a portion which is halal from this dunya, and also usually benefit and portion from the akhirah as well, so they're balanced. So remember, this is like a weight that's balanced, so you don't go one side or the other, you stay balanced, and that's the best optimum state to stay in, inshallah. Okay, G next.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I met Hazrat Sahib at the Zawiya in Pakistan and had given them my salam. They mentioned one can benefit from the upcoming month by fasting all 10 days and encourage others. Also, they said one should repent a lot in this month as well. They then mentioned that in this month one should sacrifice something which they hold beloved to themselves. When they give up this thing, they will benefit. They then mentioned to myself that you will be tested with nafs and shaitan, and that you should stay steadfast and strive. Also, one should never lose the reliance in Allah Azza wa Jal, because when one does, they are going to damage the structure, and that reliance in Allah Azza wa Jal is one of the things that holds this structure. When one loses the reliance, the structure will collapse, and then one will truly harm himself. When losing reliance, they said, remember, reliance is the three keys that Allah Azza wa Jal is watching me, hearing me, and is with me. Then I return to my body.
Sure, mashallah. So many of his self-explanatory mentioned about the fasting in the virtues of fasting in this first 10 days. Obviously doing the ibadat and especially seeking tawbah, because obviously these are the days where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will readily accept our forgiveness, and the best thing to do in these blessed days is to seek for forgiveness, because remember the difference between persons who are successful and not is those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forgiving them and accepted them as well. So we want to be amongst them. Secondly, like you said, yes, we should sacrifice. So at least beginning for adding the second part, like you were saying, you'll be tested, is that especially sacrificing those things which are maybe negative in our life, which is not liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You already, mashallah, going through the purification course, but this year focus on maybe one or two things we have, like a habit or something, that could be quite detrimental, and say at least for these 10 days and this month, let me just let go of that. So you can then make it easier for yourself by focusing on the negative aspect, which is maybe one, two or three things, at least one or two things that really bothers you, that comes back to you again and again, be it a habit or otherwise. You want to get rid of that, inshallah. So that'll be one good thing to do, inshallah. And then if you see anything else is even like light upon light, even better, inshallah. But at least to do that. And finally, yes, after all, doing all these amals, following the purification course, really, we shouldn't become any kind of haughty or proud comes in us. Oh, I'm doing all these things, I must be quite good. Really, all this actually counts to nothing if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rejects, because we're not sincere. So really, we only rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His mercy and His fazl to deliver us, to actually safeguard us, and to accept us as well, not because of our own deeds. And that is like the foundation. It's like every structure has a foundation. If the foundation is eroded, if the foundation is broken or damaged in any way, then the whole building and the whole house would collapse. Because there's no point having a beautiful house which is made of sand, because the foundation is weak and the material you use is weak, then it would collapse at any time. Any wave comes, any waves of sin, and the wind of sin comes in the way, it will break it all, inshallah, be it nafs or otherwise. So, inshallah, remember this. Obviously, part of the reliance is that what teacher is teaching you at our human level, that also relying on them and having the adab and respect and following the teaching is very important as well, and attributing where all this is coming from as well, inshallah. Yeah, is that clear? Ji, Abraham. Is it Adam, isn't it?
Ji. I transferred and found the teacher in Pakistan walking towards the mazar. We went there and did a small dua and gave salam. We stayed there for a few minutes. We then went outside on the edge of a cliff and just looked at the view, and they said to the nearest meaning that many people know the truth, however, are not acting upon it. Likewise, they don't really know the truth. Those who are acting upon the truth will achieve and excel towards on the journey. Also, one can have their own understanding of the truth, but one should follow the understanding of the mashayikh, which is the correct understanding, because as one develops their own understanding, it tends to be contaminated and these people tend to fall. And then saw a white cloud in the sky.
So just on that, inshallah, it's very important, mashallah, very clear as well. Like I was saying earlier about the revolving around, if you remember, that sometimes we compartmentalize, we separate things. Oh, this is tariq, I put tariq hat on, that's it. When I'm at home doing something else, that's it. That life is separate now, I'm doing this life. So I'm not saying literally the clothing, but I'm just giving you a figurative, metaphorical example, that we then put a different hat on, that's my life. Because I know better how to run this, because then I'm professional, I've got experience. So what he's saying is that no, in all aspects of your life, especially religiously, that you should think how the mashayikh want you to follow and to come under that, submit under that, not because I know this aspect, okay, I'll follow the teacher or follow the tariq, but this aspect, no, I know better. Many unfortunately have this attitude as well. So just to make sure that, okay, obviously there are flexibilities you can follow in Islam and Sunnah and so on. But it's always best to just check in your mind, okay, is this the way how Mashaykh wants us to live, or is it just my way, or is the way to the custom of the day? If it doesn't go against the teaching, then that's fine. But if it could go against it, or doubtful, then check yourself all the time, inshallah.
I then saw a white cloud in the sky full of light approaching us, which blinded me, and we transferred to the mazar of the Grand Teacher. We gave salam and asked them, how can I benefit from this month approaching? They then said to the news meaning that sacrifice what is displeasing to Allah and implement something which is pleasing to Allah. Many people sacrifice in this blessed month but do not really implement that which is pleasing to Allah. So this month is about sacrificing for Allah and His Messenger, but to also develop good habits. Then the name of Allah began to shine in the sky, and I asked for forgiveness. Then the vision faded.
Yeah, I mean, alhamdulillah, like the verse was mentioning as well, sacrifice, a similar message is there, to rid of something, one negative or evil, and then naturally, then automatically, then you start to implement one good as well. So it's like the two sides of the coin. If you rid of the negative, then automatically you have to replace it with something good as well. It's like, for example, doing the purification course, and arrogance. How do you get rid of arrogance? It's automatically when you start implementing something good, then the evil disappears as well. Inshallah. So it's the same side, not the same side of the coin, and two sides of the coin, for example. Inshallah. Ji, Lala.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू। ट्रांसफ़र के बाद साहब से मुलाकात हुई पाकिस्तान ज़ाविया में, उनको सलाम अर्ज़ किया, उनसे माफ़ी तलब की। उसके बाद शेख अब्दुल अज़ीज़ दब्बार रहमतुल्लाह अलैह के दरबार शरीफ पर हाज़री, वहाँ फिर शेख अब्दुल अज़ीज़ दब्बार रहमतुल्लाह ज़ाहिर हुए, वहाँ उनसे माफ़ी तलब की। फिर वहाँ पे जो मुराक़बा दुआ है वो किया।
MashaAllah, that's good. Continue. But one thing I would advise yourself is, whenever you go to any maqam or in the presence of the Mashayikh and Hazrat Sahab, just spend time there, see what's happening, absorb the light there, the noor and the face, and just be in the presence. And then inshallah the communication and the conversation slowly will begin to happen as well. Because now I'm doing this, okay, let's go next, which is fine. What I'm saying now, each time you go to different maqam, let's say you found Hazrat Sahib in Pakistan, and then just spend time there, be in the company. And then suddenly you see that some kind of advice or nasihat is given, that you feel there's something coming in your heart. It's not like the tongue like we do in the normal world. We feel it, there's something they're telling you in the heart, and then that's when the conversation begins. And then if you go to, for example, like you see forgiveness, then Zahirat inshallah Zarur they will give you response when you say forgiveness. Sometimes they might not, sometimes they will. So just spend time there, and then inshallah that's how inshallah you can improve here or enhance here inshallah in this case. Anyone else left? Bashabi, you want to mention anything? Good Ahmed? Jazakallah. Allah Ta'ala reward you, especially coming there, you following the instruction of the teacher. Like mashallah, Brother Shabir is here before everyone, and he's the last person to leave, and he's following the instruction out of the love of the teacher to benefit the ummah and the people are following. You brothers who are here as well, that you want to continue, and remember, a small deed you do, but if it's continuous and constant, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves that action, be it even a small act. So this continuity coming regularly, unless, like I said, anything that stops you from coming because you have to go somewhere or something happened, then this is quite loved and beloved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And likewise then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and obviously Mashaykh, because the angels can inspire, they are informed of these things as well. Do not forget, if Allah ta'ala wills, inshallah, they are informed, they get these knowledge as well, inshallah. Inshallah, make dua for us, especially these days are coming of Zul Hijjah, and spend days, because each day is considered as though the reward you get for the Laylatul Qadr. A whole month, especially last 10 days, people sitting at the Kaf to look for Laylatul Qadr, and here is guaranteed every day is worth. So yes, mashallah, like a brother is saying, fasting is important if you can fast, especially on the 9th as well, because it's counted as though the 1 year before and 1 year in the future the sins are forgiven, for example. And many other virtues, do nawafil prayer during the day, read Quran, do sacrifice, be extra compassionate to the people, give charity, many things you could do inshallah, as well as focus on the purification course, the MURAQBA that we know, do these things inshallah, especially on the 9th and the day of Arafat, while people are doing, for example, doing Hajj and performing Arafat, you can spiritually be in there as well and benefit from that, seek guidance. Unfortunately, many people go Hajj, they don't spiritually benefit like that. While you being here, because we learned how to do it, you can benefit from it as well, inshallah. Okay? Jazakallah. Subhanaka wa bihamdihi, subhanaka wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.